Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping down into the charts for quants, taking a look at what's been going on most recently and what I would expect to happen next. As I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, why not consider subscribing, tapping the bell, selecting all notifications, and in doing so you will not miss another update. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, the link is in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there, so why not go ahead and check that out. Okay guys, let's get into this. Let's get started. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the chart here. We are talking about quant paired up with USDT on the hourly chart, and Binance is our data source. Now as you can kind of see, let me just scale this out actually to the 4 hour. Just bring this down so we get a bit of a landscape here as to what's been going on. Okay, now, what we've got is a 5-wave move to the downside, okay? So this is basically an impulsive structure or a trend-based structure, okay? So this one here would be considered a trend. We then had a 3-wave bounce upwards, and then, actually it's over here, 3-wave bounce upwards, and then we end up with another 5-wave drop over here. Now, this is not a trend on a macro, but we basically had 2 trends to the downside. However, when we zoom out, we can see that it's not a trend. Instead, what is actually going on here is A, B and C, and basically it's a corrective structure. Okay, so when you actually take the time to zoom on out of those micro movements, you can actually see a 5-3-5 structure, otherwise known as a zigzag, and an ABC. So that's kind of where we got to. That actually allowed us to see a low point of 40.1. Okay, now there's no guarantee that we do not go down into new lower lows or anything like that. That's always a possibility, but we have got an interesting structure here that does look very, very promising for quant. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this up into our hourly and we're going to talk about this. Okay, so basically here, I'm going to first of all remove that so we don't confuse anybody. We have a 5-wave structure potentially here for quant. Okay, so we came down to $78, which was actually a little bit lower than expected. I had this originally marked out at about $83. So, you know, we were $5 out on where I estimated our 4th wave to be, which is okay. It's not too bad. It still allows us to see that we wouldn't have hit any stop losses potentially on that one. So that was all good. And then we obviously start to move back up again. And what we have a 5th wave target here that basically is indicating $125 to $145 now. And this is possible as long as the market is continuing to have this last bullish momentum to the upside before pulling on down. Okay, now one of the key things that we need to watch out for quant is that we hold this key area. Wave 4 here is not allowed to cross wave 1 under this structure. If it does, then it invalidates any potential move upwards, and all we have is left is basically to the downside. And again, that low of 40.1, that $40.10, doesn't necessarily have to hold either. Okay, so we want to kind of see this 5th wave high come to at least $125. Then we can actually be confident that we have a 5-wave structure. Now, as we said before, when we have a 5-wave structure, these are trend-based patterns, at least on the micro time frame. This would be an indication of a trend upwards. After we actually have this momentum complete and we have a finished 5-wave move, we would be looking for a 3-wave structure to come on down. Now, a typical wave, typical 3-wave structure to the downside after a 5-wave move, if we are assuming that we have upward momentum further down the line, it would be somewhere between 50 and 88% retracement of this entire 5-wave structure. If, however, this is a zigzag pattern, then it becomes an unpredictable 3-wave structure down, okay? Meaning that we could have, you know, support being found down here at 78 rather than coming down into my expected lows at the moment of 46.5 to 64.8, okay? So essentially, we've got a couple of different options when we complete this 5-wave move. Okay, so I think we've got the momentum to take this out. I think we can reach $125, but you know, we've got to be cautious because this is the last little move to the upside. So you know, if it doesn't, we can just break down from here. There's absolutely no real need to push up here at the beginning part of this move. So the first 5-wave structure is a really tough one to kind of get in. So if we can get this, it's going to be really good for quant. So 125 would be my minimum I would be looking for. However, if we start to break down lower than some of these original lows of 78, then it's not looking great. And of course, as we move down towards 66.7, it would invalidate any potential move upwards. So we should be very cautious about those things, okay? So I'm still expecting $125, but we have to be cautious, okay? Watch the market and see how it reacts to some recent news and things like that. So when we take a look at the momentum behind this price movement, okay, which is worth doing, we can see that on the hourly chart, we've come down to this oversold area. So, you know, that's pretty good, but we didn't really move up all that much from this oversold area. So we actually wiped this back out, we moved back up again, and there wasn't exactly much bullish kind of momentum recently just at the top here, okay? So we're finding this to be a bit of a struggle. So a lot of resistance in this range as well, okay? So this is a bit of an area to concern with. However, we are now down in this oversold area on the hourly. Now on the 4 hour, we are overbought, okay? So that should be indicating that there is some kind of downward momentum due, okay? And on the 8 hour, we have just come up to this overbought area. So concern should definitely be there. The daily, however, is completely oversold. So the real two issues we've got are the 4 hour and the 8 hour. The daily is actually giving us pretty good indication that we could move on up here, and so is the hourly. But again, we're up against this resistance right now, so the market literally will react very emotionally depending on what kind of news comes out. If we see something, some news for Bitcoin, for example, and Bitcoin reacts badly, I would expect quant to kind of react badly as well. And if we can actually sustain, you know, some reasonable amount of news, we might finally have that push just to finish off that fifth wave, okay? So caution should definitely be applied here. The market is not an easy read right now, specifically from a momentum indicator point of view. We are expecting a fifth wave from Elliott wave theory, and, you know, until proven otherwise, that should be our kind of go-to. So caution should definitely be, you know, adhered to in that kind of regard, okay? Now, if we do hit $125, okay, then obviously my expectation would be to come down to this low range of 46.5 to 64.8, if I can get my words out. Okay, now if I bring this up into a daily chart, and we bring this back down and just make this a little bit bigger so you guys can see. Let me just bring that in. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this reversal point right here, so we have our zigzag coming on down, we complete that down here, and it's actually a little bit short of the one-to-one. The one-to-one was $31.65, sorry, $31.60, and so it's possible, you know, that we just haven't really hit those levels. However, we moved up quite significantly, crossing this original drop, so I think we're kind of done with the lows there, at least under that structure, which I said was a zigzag. Now, this particular structure, being a 5-wave move, potentially at $125, it could be a wave 1, okay, and that's kind of what I'm looking for in terms of reversal structures. Okay, now on the way down, I would be looking at a key area of about 50 to 88% retracement of that entire wave 1 move, and then I will be looking for a 1.618 move of wave 1 within our wave 3, some kind of wave 4, and then upwards, okay? So if we do hit $125 for wave 1, and I go ahead and map this down here, my expectation would be to come down no lower than 52.60, although it's possible to come all the way to 99.9% of the retracement, but it cannot be more than 100%, as in we cannot go lower than the original low, okay? And then we'll be looking for at least hitting this $256 range within a wave 3 structure, okay? So a lot of upward momentum could be seen here from this retracement, where we could see a nice 380% move, okay? However, you know, caution to the wind. Nothing is set in stone, and we really have to see, first of all, a 5-wave structure. If we do not finish that 5th wave at $125, then this whole structure here that I've just shown you is not valid. It doesn't exist, okay? So there's a little bit of speculation as to kind of what I'm expecting to happen over the next little while here, but all eyes are really on completing this 5th wave move between 125 and 145, and then seeing a really nice retracement for accumulation ahead of that big wave 3 move. And if it's not even a wave 3, it could just be a zigzag, which is a 1-to-1 ratio, which means we'd still expect to have this entire wave 1 structure replicate itself. So if I grab hold of, actually, I'll take it the other way, take it from the top of 125, which would be the worst case. Let me grab that, just move this up to the top end here, for example. Actually, no, I'll take it to the bottom end, and to give us the kind of worst case, we would still be looking at moving up to 146 at a later stage under a zigzag structure, as in we'd have a 5-wave move, a 3-wave corrective move, and then another 5-wave move taking us up to that 146. So you end up with this larger ABC upwards, like we had that ABC to the downside, okay? And so there's a couple of different ways of looking at it, but the main key here, the thing that we really want to see is complete that 5th wave so we can have structure, and then we can use that structure to our advantage at a later stage. Guys, I am going to leave this video there. Nice brief update on Quant. If you found it useful and informative, hit the like button. I really do appreciate that. If you happen to be new to the channel, then why not go ahead and subscribe, tap the bell, select all notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with everything that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. With all this said, done and out of the way, I hope everyone has a fantastic day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.